Hey, welcome to the Jaysquared podcast. I'm Jasoma,
And I'm J Rock.
and we have an amazing show for you today. This is part two of our holiday special where we count down our top 10 movies and television shows. Part one, we did the movies, and now we're going to be doing the TV shows. How are you feeling
Yep.
about this one?
Um, I was feeling fine with my movies. I think this one is probably more in my realm because I watch more TV shows than you do. Um,
Okay.
yeah, because
I
you
mean,
watch more movies than I do.
yeah, I think that is true. I think that I definitely have had the movies, but I will say that I went ahead and I took your advice and I did go ahead and watch quite a few more TV shows. So I think I'm up there. I'm up there now. So we're gonna
Sure.
I'm gonna I think we're gonna be a little bit.
You muted yourself.
Oh, sorry. I think we're both gonna be a little bit surprised at um what we have here. So
That's the usual.
yeah. All right. So we're gonna start off with. Did we start off with the worst, or did we start off with the honorable mentions?
Honorable
Honorable mentions,
mentions.
halfway worse, and then the rest,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha. All right, so my honorable mentions. I feel bad about not putting it on my about not putting the first one on my top 10 because I genuinely always have a good time watching this show. It's a feel good show. Anybody who does like
I already know where you're going
animation,
with this one.
no, you
Oh,
don't. You have no
okay.
idea.
I thought you were
Edit
gonna take a different turn.
anybody who likes animation. They should definitely go ahead and take a look and watch this show. And I'm gonna go with Bob's Burgers. Bob's Burgers, it's already like has a cult following. It's a family favorite, and they're consistent with their episodes. You don't have to wait years and years, and you're always gonna get that good Christmas episode, that good Halloween episode. You're always gonna get like it's the humor is always on point. It's a very dry humor, but it's hilarious and doesn't have to be like over the top, crazy and gritty. Um, yeah, that's one of mine. Do we go back to back or do you want to?
Just say your three, and then I'll say my three.
All right, for sure. American Dad is the second one. I love going to sleep watching American Dad. It is hilarious. Um, the whole cast, whatever, is funny as hell. And it's one of those shows that I knock out and I can knock out to it. Don't have to really follow it that closely. That's probably the reason why I don't put it on my top 10 as well, because I don't really follow like every episode like that. I'm pretty much following it like from like, oh, is this an episode I haven't seen before? All right, cool, I'll watch it, but there's no real theme. So the next one is kind of falls into the same realm. It's Family Guy. Yeah, Family Guy definitely has that chokehold on me. Not gonna lie, um, it really did. It really did grow on me, especially this year, since I've been, you know, going through my whole falling asleep thing. I If you guys don't know, I fall asleep to watching TV shows. It's the way that the best way I go to sleep. So that's why it's pretty much up there for me as honorable mentions go.
Wow.
Your turn.
Yeah. I wonder if any of those came out with new seasons, but I'll
They
digress.
did
Cool.
2024.
Sure. So I'm
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
I'm gonna start with this first show, The Acolyte.
Hmm.
It was one of the Star Wars shows that came out this year that got a lot of hate because it had a black lead who is also queer, and the
Okay.
fanboys get upset about every little thing. But this was a villain origin story that was surprisingly really good after episode 4. And that's the kicker. A lot of people gave up after the first 2 episodes, but if you actually stayed on until the 4th episode, then you start to realize, oh wow, this show's actually good. It just had a very slow
Okay.
start. It also starred the guy from Squid Games. He was one of the Jedi's
Okay.
on this show. Um, Overall,
That's pretty cool.
it was a really good show that got a lot of hate. and is not getting a season 2 because of the hate, but
You think
I
that's
guess
why?
you think that's why what?
You think that's why it's not getting a season 2 because of the hate, or do you think that it just wasn't as good as the other shows?
I think because of the hate, mostly. That's why it's not getting a second show. So that was my first one. Again, I still think it's because of the hate that it didn't get a season 2, but also like I feel like people aren't ready for villain origin stories in certain realms of like media.
Okay.
And I would say this is one of them.
I don't know.
Um,
I would say, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know Star Wars as much as you do, of course.
mhm.
But I mean, I think people do love the story of like Anakin becoming,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
also like I think a lot of people have that interest or intrigue when it comes to Darth Maul or whatever. I
yeah.
mean,
No, you're right in that sense, but also they're men who are leading the show, not
mm,
women or
okay,
people that are queer or black people. I could keep going.
I know. Okay, all right, all right. So
But yeah.
I like. Okay, so do you still have one more, right?
Oh yeah, no, that was my first one.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I'll make these quick though. The second one was a show called The Diplomat, which was on Netflix. It was like popping during Thanksgiving, so I decided to give it a like check it out. And it's basically a political show where it's this woman who was gonna get shipped out to like an ambassador. She was gonna be the ambassador of the U.S. in another country, and then plans changed, and she ends up being the ambassador in London for the U.S.
Okay,
And then a lot of plot twists start to happen because then you start to realize that they only moved her to London because they want to make her vice president because the vice president is about to resign because of some shit. And then there's just like little things that start happening that cause like this almost World War III in like their world,
Jesus Christ. Okay,
all because of little things that happen within the government. And it's all connected at the end. So it was very much like a lot of crazy plot twists where you're like, whoa, what? Like, one little event caused this much of an effect on the government, and that's usually what happens in the real world. So it was pretty cool, but not good enough to be my top 10. And then my
okay.
last one was Black Doves, which is a recent show that came out on
Mm,
Netflix. It's a spy show. It's British. It was really, really well done. I did not like the ending though. I felt like the
got,
ending wasn't it didn't give me the necessary closure I needed, but there is going to be a season 2, which came out in promotions, which I was like, all right, cool. Like maybe that'll give me the closure. But it was cool to see the girl from Pirates of the Caribbean come back out and make
got you.
a new show. So that was cool. But yeah.
I was planning on it, but it just didn't pique my interest enough to start
Yeah,
watching it. I mean,
it's good. I just didn't the finale kind of left me like was mid by the end. That's why I
yeah,
didn't make the top 10 for me. But it was still a good show to watch.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. All right. Back to you. What's your number 10?
Well, now we're going to be getting into our top 10 list, which I'm super excited about because I feel
Hmm.
like, again, I feel like we're going to end up hating each other just like we did with the movies. But yeah, let's start off with my number 10. And I
Hmm.
don't know if you feel this way, but it is what it is. I wish they did better. And I'm going to say my number 10 is Invincible. Um,
Oh, you're going to be so surprised with my ranking of Invincible.
okay. All right. I'm here for it. The reason why Invincible is on my top 10 or
Okay.
is not that I'm on my top 10, but is number 10.
Hmm.
I love the premise. I love the concept. The issue that I have with Invincible is that oh my god, the time in between us knowing what the fuck is going on, it's too long. I think they underestimated how popular the show was going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and with them underestimating that, they haven't been able to produce as much as they wanted to. And
It's a
it
COVID
just
show.
at this point, yeah, it was a COVID show. Um, and people really did fall in love with it. But now at this point, like we're just kind of losing interest. And there's too many storylines now, um, where it's like getting a little bit confusing. Like honestly, at this point, we still don't know what the fuck we're doing with Sterling K. Brown's character, the black dude from the multiple dimensions. You know who I'm talking about? Who created a whole bunch of clones of himself?
Oh, did you not finish season 2?
I I I finished. It's just that like they didn't get deep enough, like with that character, in my opinion. Am I tripping?
Are you sure you finished it?
I'm sure. I'm 100% sure I
You
finished
know
it.
he's dead, right?
So, oh yeah, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. No, it was the first half that I didn't know what the fuck they were doing
Okay.
with this character. The
Okay.
second half, he died. Um, so I guess that's not the reason why I didn't care too much for Invincible,
I was
but
like, wait a second, I don't want to
I
ruin
think
this,
that I
but
think that that still just goes to show that it was all over the
there you
place for
go.
me,
Hmm.
and I just didn't really find a really good spot for it in my heart of hearts. But I will say that uh Omni Man's journey, that's what put it into my top 10. If it wasn't for that, like I feel like Mark makes all the stupid decisions. Like he lost his girl, like all this dumbest shit that he could do, like at least in the
Typical
show.
Mark. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So what's your number 10?
All right, my number 10 is called Presumed Innocent.
Okay.
Um, it's an Apple TV show with Jake Gyllenhaal, who's a lawyer, and the whole premise is he's a famous attorney general who gets arrested for the murder of a police officer in a very gruesome way. So he goes to trial, and because of something that happens, he ends up representing himself. So he's representing himself while going against the rest of the attorney general office, who he used to work with, but they have beef with him. And then throughout the show, like there's so many plot twists, and then the finale, the major plot twist comes out, and that's when you start to realize that wow, the show was like really messed up. Like that family and everything that happened to them and happened to him, and what happened to the person that got murdered, and all the connections is just like really fucked up. But it was a
Jesus
great show.
Christ.
Like it was a very much a roller coaster for me, and I really enjoyed it. So that was my number 10.
Okay. That actually sounds pretty interesting. It's also
It was
on the
pretty
list
good.
that I might go ahead and watch. Now, my
Cool.
number 9
Hmm.
is I know that you're not somebody who's into reality TV shows, but
Hmm.
F Boy Island, they did it again. I'm sorry, but F Boy Island is a show that, well, now I mean, I'm not interested in the show anymore because they pretty much franchised it out to the CW, and now they have F Boy Island
Oof.
Australia, F Boy Island, blah 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 blah.
The
And
CW
with
ruins
that,
everything.
I mean the production quality, huh?
The CW ruins everything.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. So what happens is that when you spread it that thin, then the quality drops when it comes to the production value because they already have their money everywhere else. So the pretty much the premise, the idea of the show is that there's a bunch of guys and girls eliminate guys who they think are F boys or if they're nice guys. So the idea is that you want to get as many nice guys so you could choose a partner who's a nice person. Now,
Mhm.
there's money on the line. So I don't know, I don't remember the exact amount of money, but let's say it's like $100,000, right? That's on the line. So if he's a nice guy, he automatically, like if he gets to the end and he's a nice guy and you chose a nice guy as your partner, then he has to split $50,000 for you, $50,000 for him, and you guys go about your merry way as a relationship. But if you pick an F boy, then he has the option to be in a relationship with you and split it 50-50,
Or
or
take the money.
he just takes the whole 100 for himself. Yeah. So a lot of the times these girls go ahead and they pick F boys, or they figure out that the guy's an F boy and they're like, but he has such a nice smile. Like, it's just a funny show and it comes to conflict. So that's why I definitely would pick that I picked that show as number 9. I had a great time watching it, definitely. But yeah, it was pretty good. You should give it a try.
No. All right. Um, I don't like reality TV. I'm sorry.
Every time, I don't know why I've
Um,
even tried.
no. All right. So number 9 was called Under the Bridge. It was a show on Hulu. It's a true story about a Native American girl who got bullied and later murdered by her so-called friends, um, who were some girls from foster care who wanted to be in the mob, so they started acting like they were in the mob, even though they're from Canada. Um, and then there's a
Why'd you say it like that? Even though they're from Canada.
because I mean, yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know.
And that's
Um,
why we're not gonna ever be showcasing Canada, because of things like that.
my
Be
fault,
careful, bro. Drake is gonna fucking.
bro. They not like us.
All
No.
right, go ahead.
But yeah, so then the story only starts to get attention and media attention when a writer starts investigating, but then there's a very tough line between following what the writer is saying because she then starts feeling sympathy or empathy for the murderer because they remind him they remind her of her brother. Um, but then as you dive deeper into the story, you start realizing that all these kids are just messed up
Got
and
it.
it's just hard to pick a side, but then at the end of the day, you realize that someone lost her life, and yeah, you have to see. I like that they showed what the family went through and focused more on the family side of it instead of just like overall
Yeah.
other parts of the story. But yeah, it's on Hulu if anyone's interested, or you could just do the illegal thing that Gisoma does.
I advocate for the illegal activities always.
All right, number 8.
So my number 8 is gonna be, it's the only reason I think it's controversial is because I guess of the context of what I watched, and also it's marked as an episode but also kind of a movie. It's just an extended episode, but it's part of the show.
Okay.
So it's South Park, The End of Obesity. Now listen, if you're not a South Park fan, that's totally fine. If you think South Park is just a completely, you know, fucked up show, they make fun of everything, blah blah blah. I understand, but this episode, like, people that would normally think that South Park is fucking stupid that I watched this with were like, yo, they have a really good point. So pretty much what happens is that a bunch of people so they talk about the healthcare system. Now Cartman is fat, and he's like, I want to be skinny. So they offer him uh what's it called? Ozempic. They offer him Ozempic.
Okay.
And he's like, yes, finally I could be skinny and nobody can make fun of me for anything. But he just wants to be skinny. So when he talks shit to people, they can't say, oh, you're fat, like as a comeback. And
Mm-hmm.
it turns out like since he doesn't have the right insurance, or he doesn't have insurance and he doesn't have money, then he has to get the lower form of Ozempic, which is pretty much not Ozempic at all. And the name of it is Lizzo. So it's just body positivity instead of being an actual medication. They're like, yeah, just be positive about your body instead. Like, whatever, like that's gonna help you. And then it's like, wait, but what about the sick people? And it's like, don't worry about it. So that's how they,
Interesting.
yeah, that's how they pretty much go through it. And now the people who could afford it are like single, are like not single moms, but like housewives and trophy wives and stuff like that in the neighborhood. and they're all
Mhm.
getting super skinny and they're all using Ozempic and they start wearing crop top. It's just like, oh, the rich people that don't need it, they can get
Are the
it.
ones that yeah,
They're the ones
yeah.
that get it. But the people who actually need the product, they just have to go ahead and kind of deal with it. So it's like, wait, what? And it turns out that there's like it's just a lot of shit that happens to it throughout the episode or throughout
Mhm.
the show. So it's like a one-off episode of the show, but it's really fucking good. Um, so yeah, that was my number 8. I thought that that was just genius.
Okay. Um, my number 8 is Cross. It's on Amazon Prime, I believe. It's basically a detective show based on the Alex Cross books. Season 1 just came out, and it follows this black detective from Maryland, and he is investigating the shooting of a known black activist. And without realizing it, um, it becomes him pursuing a serial killer who is
Oh
using
shit!
people who resemble previous serial killers. So he finds these random people and he makes them look like the serial killer that's in jail and then kills them. Um,
God damn. Okay.
so then just random people, he starts to realize how random people were connected. So this black activist was connected just because he looked like a serial killer. Um, and then he makes them eat the serial killer's last meal and makes them go through like the whole pain that they went through and kills them in the way that they were killed in jail. Yeah, it's a pretty twisted show.
You're watching some dark shit, J Rock.
Yeah,
The slippery slope.
not really. Um, so yeah, it's a really good show. It would have been higher had I not watched the other shows I have on my list. But I had to put it in my top 10. I was like really into it, and I don't really read books, so
Yeah.
the fact that it's based on a book, I was like, oh, okay, it's pretty sick.
All right.
Well, yeah, if you're into like detective shows and all of that, highly recommend this one.
Okay. Um. So now we're on to our number 7. This is where it's gonna start to get hairy for me. I had to put pretty low. Abbott. I had to put
Oh,
Abbott Elementary at number 7.
okay.
I'm sorry, but like I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm having to put them lower and lower every season. Not that the storyline isn't good. It's just that it's not as provocative as the original storyline was. Um, I, I don't know. It just not. I'm just not feeling it as much. It's just not as like the ideas aren't as fresh as they were when it first started. So I don't know. They're gonna, in my opinion, I feel like they're gonna have to switch something up to make it as interesting as it was when it first came out. It's just starting to drop in that aspect for me.
All right. Surprisingly, my number 7 is also Abbott Elementary.
What? We're right.
Perfect.
We're right
We're
here.
right here.
Yeah.
That was good. I agree. I think it's still like my happy go-to show
Hmm.
that I watch when I feel like I need a good laugh. But it isn't hitting the way it used to hit, where I used to be like every week waiting for it. Now it's like, oh, if I remember, then yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Um, I do think that for me, I think season 4 is a little bit better than season 3 right now. So like the shows that are coming out now instead of in the beginning of the year. Um, but we'll see. I don't know how much I really like this Gregory Janine storyline.
Yeah. I think the
I know that
buildup.
it's like, yeah,
Yeah, I think the buildup was more interesting than the
hmm
execution of it
yeah,
because now they're together and it's kind of like
it's
okay,
mid.
yeah, like I
It's
thought that
mid.
it was gonna be like I don't know what I was expecting because
Jim and Pam is what they were going for, or like
yeah,
something similar in that realm.
but it doesn't feel that way.
It
I
doesn't hit that way.
yeah, like I
So
guess
yeah,
I think that it was a I just I like the idea of it.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I like the idea of it, but I don't like watching it.
Yeah. Wow.
It's I
Okay.
don't
I
know.
can't believe we
Yeah,
both had the same number sevens. Okay. Okay. I
yeah.
like that.
We'll see if we match up again. Probably.
Hopefully we
Probably
do.
not.
I think we might, to be honest with you. Uh,
We'll see. All right.
but
What's your number
all right.
6?
My number six is Kevin could go f himself. Now I told you
I
about
still
this.
haven't watched that.
I know.
It's
I
on my
know.
list.
I'm telling you, if you need to watch a show um that's fucking killing, like that's fucks your brain up a little bit, and
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
that's the show. The only reason it's not higher is because I felt like I hate plot holes.
yeah.
That's the type of person I am when I watch
I get
shows.
that. Yeah.
And there's some things that the main character does that's kind of silly. But if you do want to watch it, I mean, definitely understandable because it has to do with emotional manipulation. It has to do with things of that nature. If you guys don't know what Kevin Coco F himself is about, pretty much it's about this woman who's living in a sitcom when she's around her husband and stuff like that. But as soon as she leaves the room, it turns into a drama series. And the way that the camera angles work, the eeriness, like the creativity behind the plot, it's just awesome. But again, that's the only reason it's not higher on my list. But other than that, fucking great show, man. Great
Yeah,
show.
no. It's definitely on my list. There's like 2 or 3 shows that I couldn't watch or finish before the end of the
Mhm.
year that I definitely wanted to watch, and that's one of them. So,
Okay.
I'll take your word for that one. All right. My number 6 is actually X-Men 97. Um,
You must have some good fucking shows, man.
oh
You
yeah,
must
no.
have some good shows.
Yeah. Um, the writing was top tier. One of the best writing shows I've seen in a while. Um, emotionally, it hit. Um, it was very on brand with what is happening in America,
Yeah.
and I just don't understand why people don't know that the X-Men like, what the X-Men represent. So, like, when people are like, "Oh, this show is so woke and blah, blah, blah," I'm like, "Are you stupid?
Yeah. It's like
Who do
you've
you think the
never
X-Men are?"
Yeah,
Like,
it's like you've never like if you really feel like the X-Men is too woke and like or
yeah,
they're trying to make it some type of way, then you never watched X-Men. You could just say that. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say. It's a great show. I
Yeah.
think I've watched other animated or, I guess, comic book video game related shows that were a
Hmm.
little bit better for me, but, I hate that I put it at number 6, but, I mean, yeah, that's
Your
where I'm
list
at.
is okay. I can see.
That's where I'm
I
at.
guess your roster is on another level. Okay.
Yeah, had
Um.
this show come out another year, it'd definitely be like top 3.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, for me, for my number five.
Hold up, before you get to number 5,
Oh
we have to do
yeah,
our worst
we
show.
got to do our worst show. Our
Go.
worst show. All right, guys. Uh,
I
if
feel bad with my worst show.
I don't. I if I
Yeah.
could have two worst shows, I
I
would.
mean, I think we kind of did that with movies. We said one
Oh,
and named the second one, but we didn't really go into
oh,
detail.
then you're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate me because I
Um,
have two. It's not. It's definitely not as bad as my number one, but you're gonna hate me. So my number two. Uh, I'm sorry, J Rock, but it's Agatha.
yeah, you have problems.
my
Literally have
I'm
problems.
sorry, it's Agatha. It's Agatha all along. I'm
Yeah, you have
sorry that
problems.
show was so bad. Like
Not at all.
Marvel needs to go back to movies. Like they need
Just
to
so much.
stay
You are on the wrong side of this, so yeah,
they need to stay away from TV
not at all.
shows. They need to
Not
stay
at
away
all.
from it because what they're doing is that they're digging themselves into a deeper hole.
No, they're not.
They're lessening the
Literally,
product.
it's the best Marvel
They
show out.
It is
It is.
it is not.
It
Oh my
is.
god.
Look
It's
at
so terrible.
everything. It's
It's
not.
terrible. The
It's
script
not.
is atrocious. The you have
Absolutely not.
all they did was
Oh
make
my
the side
god.
character. The
You
side
are a
character is
Marvel
terrible.
hater.
This the side
You are
character.
a
The
Marvel
side
hater.
character is terrible. Wiccan is a written great character, but what they did is that they just made him like the side character to Hawkeye, the side character to everybody else, just an annoying brat teenager with TikTok fucking humor. That's what they keep doing, and it's like, bro, we're tired of it. What they wrote Ironheart great, they did Shuri great, but they cannot get side characters right. They just keep fucking them up. And
Hey,
now,
just say you
and
hate
now,
women.
I like
That's
honestly,
better for you.
I was watching it, and
That's better for you.
I was watching it. And I was like, do I
That's better
hate
for you.
women? I was like,
Yeah,
do I hate women? Like
yeah,
that's what I thought, and I was like,
yeah,
no, because Black Panther did it right, and I was
yeah.
like, oh
No,
wait, never mind. It's
just
just
say
that
you hate
Marvel
women.
sucks at writing these side characters, and then
Just say you hate women.
and why would they
I
bring
think that's your
Agatha
best
back
take.
as a ghost? Like it's like yo, what
Do
the
you
fuck is
not
going on,
know Agatha's comic book? She's a
bro? But
fucking ghost in the comic books. Are
do
you
you
dumb?
okay? Do you understand how silly the show is? How they went ahead
No.
and they built it on Agatha to go ahead and lead into a side character. If they would have made the show based around that fifth episode, then I would have been fine with it. But they leaned too much on Agatha, thinking that's gonna get the public opinion that
I
they got.
stopped listening
But
to you
it's
and everything
trash.
because you
It's
just hate
garbage.
women.
It's absolute garbage. I'm
Uh,
sorry. Dog water. Terrible humor.
absolutely
Oh, we're
not.
gonna bring in Aubrey Plaza and they're gonna love this. Fucking garbage. I'm sorry.
Absolutely not.
That's what they did to themselves. Like
No, it's
they
getting a
try to
season two. So yeah,
yeah, that's another terrible move. I don't expect
and no,
anything
it's
less from
not.
Marvel, dude. I'm sorry.
It
Marvel
literally
TV. Sorry,
broke the
Marvel
record.
TV
It's better
shows.
than Loki season two. So you can keep
That
talking. The
is a
accomplishment is
crazy
already up
thing to
there.
say.
Google
That's
it.
that's a crazy thing.
Google
Google what?
Google
It's
it.
subjective. I like Marvel shows. I loved Loki
No, you
season
don't.
2.
You
I
are a
love Loki
Marvel
season.
hater.
How are you telling me? But I love Loki season 2. How are you gonna tell me?
Nah, you are a Marvel hater, bro. It's
No, I
over for
just don't
you.
think that they should have made this thing. They made Echo. They're making all this trash, and they just want you to eat it, and they
Can
keep doing it every
you
year.
can you
But
continue? I'm
my
done
number
listening to
one,
you.
my number one
Your opinions suck, bro.
most hated. No, what sucks is Marvel's writing.
No, it does
Marvel
not.
stopped writing good
Nah, this is
characters.
one of the best written shows. That's why it's getting all the awards. Like yeah, no, you lost a
What is a
plot,
good
bro.
written part of
You
Agatha All Along?
literally
Is the
lost
humor
the
good? Did you
plot.
laugh? Did you laugh?
Yes,
It was
yes,
not. It was not.
it was
What was the part?
hilarious.
What was the what was the funny part
What's
for
your
you?
number one show? I don't have time for this. What's your number one
Good.
show?
All right,
Yeah, because
my
I'll
number
I'll
one.
talk later.
Listen, my number one worst show is Velma. I saw Velma season 2, and I don't know how they just made it worse. They just made it
I don't know
worse.
why you watched the second season.
Well, because I needed a worse show. So you gotta watch the second season. I mean, if they make it, I mean, I'm gonna watch it when I have nothing else to do and see what they're gunning for. But it was pretty fucking terrible. It was absolutely garbage. I mean,
Well,
Jesus
now I don't
Christ.
feel bad about my worst show.
All right, go ahead.
My worst show is Invincible season 2.
I respect it.
Because what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I respect it.
You have 4 or 5 different plot lines.
Yeah.
Then you take a 3-month break in between after dropping 3 episodes that literally led us nowhere. And now we're heading into season 3 where you literally call yourself out in the trailer because you took a fucking break.
Yeah.
And now nobody knows what the fuck we're watching anymore. And like you said earlier, it's a COVID show.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, the hype died. I think they think that if they're meta or if they keep being meta enough, like, breaking the fourth wall and talking to us and stuff like that about how hard it is to make a show, then we're gonna care. And it's like, get more money. Like, we don't care about that. We know how much you made off Invincible 1, bro. Get to work. Like, we don't need all of the, oh, it's hard to make a show. All right, then don't make the show anymore.
or if you didn't have any plans on how to continue with the next season, end
Finish
it.
it. Exactly. Just finish it. End it. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah. Um, that was my worst show.
All right.
All
So
right.
we only had
Well,
one.
I only had one. The other ones that I watched, they're not.
They're not worst show worthy. Got you.
They're
Okay.
not even. It's only one other one, but it's not even like worth watching because I stopped watching it halfway through. So I don't
Oh, I
really know how
see.
it ends.
So you
So
can't even give an like a
an
opinion on it
honest
because you didn't finish.
opinion. Yeah.
Got you. All right. So my number five is Supercell. Supercell is pretty much about it. It's pretty much based in like London or the UK or whatever they call it. And
Oh, you're
and
gonna hate my top five.
no, it's fine. It's fine. Like it's my top five. I love the show. Pretty much what it is that you know how people have sickle
A
cell.
superpower. Isn't
Yeah,
it a superpower show? Yeah, it's on
yeah. So
Netflix.
people have like people who have sickle cell is like the opposite of that, and it gives people superpowers. So it's called supercell. Now, select few people have it. We don't have that much detail on how they get it or how these people did get the powers that they have, but you travel with the main character on how they are supposed to navigate a future event that's going to be happening that's going to pretty much destroy the world. And they have time skipping powers, but they don't know how to control it yet. So their future self came to the past and it's like, you need to go ahead and this and that, blah blah blah. So we're pretty much walking with him through that path. But I think it's a really freaking awesome show. Storyline's on point. The plot is on point. The only plot hole that I can even say that I had is like just with the future character, like they could have done things differently, but I think that it has to also do with canon events. Like so it's pretty cool so far. I'm intrigued and I really loved how the show went.
Cool. All right, my number five is a show called Slow Horse, season four. It's
You watch
another.
some weird shows, man. I never hear about these shows. Must be
It's
good,
on
but
Apple TV.
you really like Apple
Um,
TV, bro.
Apple TV sometimes has bangers, for sure, and then they have a misses. Um, yeah, it depends. Like if it's like a outer space show on Apple TV, stay the fuck away.
Really?
Great budget, great like visually, plot and writing, trash when it comes to like outer space. But this one's a spy show, also another British show. I think it's the best show on Apple TV, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, it follows so it's also on a book series. But this one is basically the main character. Someone wants him dead, so they fake his death. So he kills someone who looks exactly like him, and
Okay.
in order for him to find out who set him up, he has to plant his information on the dead body and then go to like France to figure out who's trying to set him up. And then you realize it's his dad, and then there's a bunch of other plot twists that happen.
Holy shit. Okay.
Um, but yeah, and then you realize that his grandfather, who is losing his mind because he's old, also has secrets that he refuses to tell his grandson. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's happening, but this last season was really fucking good, and they're not afraid to kill like main characters. Like
I
they'll kill
like
them
that.
off each season, and then
I
you'll be like,
like
"What the
that.
fuck? I actually like that character," and then now you have to pick up with another character. But yeah, it's a really great show. Very underrated on Apple TV because of the other great shows that are on Apple TV, but highly recommend it.
Okay. I think that sounds pretty like it sounds like something that's actually my speed.
Mhm.
But I mean you kind of ruined it because you already told me like one
Oh,
of them.
that's not even the twist.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's like pretty straightforward in like within the first episode.
You said slow horse?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me write that down. All right.
All right, what's your number four?
All right. So, my number 4 is X-Men 97. Now, in my opinion, uh, I didn't think that Marvel could do animations well. When it came to like at least MCU animations, I didn't think that they could do it well. But X-Men 97 proved me absolutely the fuck wrong, because I watched What If and I was like, weak. Like, but then when X-Men 97 came out, the conversation that was being had without having the conversation, that's what I live for. Like that type of like, I don't need to tell you directly what I'm talking about for you to understand what I'm talking about. And that's what X-Men 97 did. Like they really like held a mirror up to society at a crucial time like now, and people were like losing their shit, and also people were like, but I like the X-Men, why do they have to be so woke? And they're like, wait, but are we really like that? And then it gives the idea of like, yo, I love Magneto's growth and trying, like that shit, that made me feel so much, because he was like, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna believe in what you told me to believe in, Charles. I'm gonna try it for you. And then he tried, and to see that humans are just beyond saving, he's like, here I go again. What the fuck? Every single time. And it's just like, it just told the story of pretty much our society in general. Like you can you can try, but sometimes there's only one way. And that's what, and it kind of paint that picture of what some people were against. Like some people were against segregation. They're like, no, we shouldn't segregate each other. But even when we were allowed to segregate and we're going ahead and we're prospering, we get fucking bombed and we get attacked because we're doing too good. Like it was just a really, really good, really, really good show. I definitely think it's in the right place.
Yeah, I agree. I have nothing bad to say about X-Men 97. It's a really great show. I did think of another worst show that I just watched.
Oh, what was it?
Squid Game season 2.
What?
That shit was garbage, bro.
Yo,
Straight up garbage.
yo,
The
J-Rock,
plot.
we're birds of a feather, bro. We're like we're so we're so linked, bro. We're so linked.
Did you like that? The season 2?
Go ahead and what's your number?
My
What's
number
your number
4?
four? Yeah, go ahead
Jesus
with your number four.
Christ. Yeah, I bet that's your number 1 show. Gross. Um, my number 4 show is The Penguin. Um, the reason why it's number 4 and not higher is because I didn't like the first 3 episodes of this show.
Wait,
Um,
of what?
The Penguin.
Okay.
Um, it only started to get better once we followed the storyline of Sophia Falcone. Episode 4 was a turning point for me and how they showed Arkham. I thought that was probably the best representation of Arkham I've ever seen.
Hmm.
In I guess live action. Very true to what we imagine and very true to like how people treat others who are in mental hospitals. So it's very spot on. And then from there, just like how awful the Penguin is, and yeah, no, he's a piece of shit. I don't know if you ended up watching the show or not. I'm gonna say something to spoil, so I just want to make
Oh,
sure.
okay. Yeah, you can spoil it. I'm not gonna watch
Yeah,
it.
that
I'm
last
not gonna end
episode
up. I'm not gonna
was.
end up watching it. It was just
You didn't like it?
yeah, yeah, nah.
Okay, so that was my number 4. Yeah, no, he's a piece of shit human, and it's gonna connect to Batman too, whenever that comes out.
Hmm.
But
And probably Superman.
no, Batman 2. It's not in the same world.
I
That's
don't
already known.
know.
That's already known. What's your
Stop
number
crushing
3?
dreams. Stop
Never.
crushing dreams. All right.
Never.
So my number 3 is Squid Game. Listen, Squid Game season
It's
2.
awful.
Listen, listen. So in my opinion, I didn't think I was thinking to myself like, how are they gonna follow up Squid Game season 1? Squid Game season 1 was fucking amazing. And
No.
this storyline, I thought to myself, yo, this is the dumbest thing that they can do, bro. Like they really set into place like what somebody, even though the guy had all the money, could go ahead and live a perfect life, he's like, this isn't my money. This is like the fact that he kept repeating like, yo, this is blood money, like I have to do something to pretty much help the people in the future because this game's not going to end. He could be selfish, but he chose to be the hero. And then how the ending kind of went, the ending of the season kind of went, and I don't want to spoil it because this is definitely a super fresh show. I'm only going to tell you guys what is in the trailer, but how the ending went, like you kind of see perspectives from everybody, and you start to kind of like not sympathize, but understand the people who are running the game from a different aspect. And I'm like, I'm in for it. I'm in for it. The only thing that I could say that's negative about it is that it's already been said, but it's just not finished yet. So I mean, I'm waiting for that to be finished. But yo, top tier show, top tier show.
No comment.
Good. What's your
Yeah.
what's your
Yeah.
number
So you
three?
don't have comments for my shows. My number 3 is Fallout.
I heard it's good. I
It's
heard it's good.
a video game adaptation TV show. So similar to The Last of Us. Um, on Amazon Prime. Wow. I have no
Mhm.
idea. Never played the game. Didn't really know what I was going into. Just a lot of people from work and friends were like, "You need to watch this. You need to watch this." So ended up watching it. Ended up binging it. Um, Very good show, and another like end of the world apocalyptic show, similar to The Last of Us, but instead of zombies, you get like a bunch of other stuff.
Mhm.
Give me 1 second.
No problem.
Okay.
Go ahead. Fallout.
Um, yeah. So very much a really good video game adaptation. Has a lot of different aspects of it, and you're basically following three different main characters that all end up connecting. And there's a couple of characters where you kind of like at first you hate them and then you end up loving them, or at first you like love them and then you end up hating them, based off of like their decisions that they have made throughout the show. So there's one consistent character that is supposed to be like I would compare her to Captain America, where always tries to see the good in people, or always tries to do the right thing based off of what she's learned. But I think season 2, which is supposed to start filming, I think it's going to change her perspective just because of how season 1 ended. There's a big
Hmm.
plot twist that you kind of could tell, but once it happens, you're like, oh shit. Actually,
Okay.
there's 2 plot twists in the last episode that I was like, whoa. So, yeah, that was my number 3.
Okay. So my number 2 is The Boys. Now, I'm gonna be real.
I didn't watch it.
Uh, huh?
I didn't watch it.
Oh yeah, you weren't able to watch it, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if I want to.
Um,
Sell me.
all right, so this season of The Boys, it pretty much doesn't follow the same. Oh yeah, we gotta go ahead and beat the man. It's more of like a self reflection of, yo, are we as bad as the people who are kind of running this whole game, or kind of like as bad as Vought and Homelanders, dude? You like, I think you've seen how people are reacting to Homelander and his acting. It's ridiculous. Like everything that he's doing or everything that he does, it makes you uncomfortable. It makes you eerie, and it really puts in perspective again. Like it gave me that season one feel, like this is what superheroes would do. This is who they would be. And again, when it comes to killing people, they still don't care. You start to see different perspectives, new heroes, cults, and also with it kind of gives you the the even look of like the Republicans and versus Democrats, and how like, oh shit, like what are the differences, and also the rioting and the fighting between both of them, and is it worth it? Like these, like you would really watch that, you would watch it and you'd be like, damn, this is actually pretty dope because of the way that they're kind of framing it out. They're not they're not framing it out to be something that's just super easy to kind of pick a side. It's more like,
Mhm.
wait, why am I going with this person? And the twist that comes throughout the show itself, it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy.
I know of
But
a
yeah,
couple. So, yeah.
all right. But you should watch it. I think that you would love it.
Yeah, it was on my list and I was gonna watch it and then I decided to watch Fallout.
I can see that. I mean, I've heard
So,
about Fallout, so I mean, I'm not gonna hate, but I've heard about
you
it.
are gonna hate me now, but whatever. Okay.
Okay.
Um, my number two, for me, it was the Year of the Witches. I'm gonna be honest with you. My number two is Agatha All Along. And unlike Gisoma, I actually do love women. Um,
The
I
writers don't. The writers don't
no,
love women.
they do, they do.
They don't.
It's written by women, so yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
they don't love them. That was a
so it's the
terrible way to write
same
them.
director. No, I'm gonna stop listening to you because your opinion on this show does not mean anything to me right now.
Go ahead.
It was written by the same people of WandaVision, and they need to continue writing whatever has to do with WandaVision in the future. And as everyone else who is a Marvel fan could see, it literally broke every record. Um, for me, the music was really good. I like the aspect of them adding music similar to what they did with WandaVision. But then again, recently I've discovered that I might be into musicals. So for me, it was top tier. Episode 7 is probably the best episode that they've written, and a great way of showing time jumping and connecting it all together at the end. Each character brought something different, and they ended up leaving with what they asked for in the beginning. So that was great character development for me. And then did answer a lot of questions into what they're moving forward with, which is the Young Avengers, and then potentially adding Tommy because of the Vision show that's coming up. That is probably going to be either pushback or connect to Agatha Part 2, as it seems like they are going to have a second season. So for me, I'm very excited. This to me proves that Marvel could definitely be saved. So I am excited for what comes forward. Also, Aubrey Plaza and Catherine Hahn carry, which is why they're nominated for multiple awards. So I'm not even going to complain. I'm excited about it. So yeah, I had for me, you are a Marvel hater, so like it doesn't matter what you have to say. Um,
They hate
so
Marvel.
what's
I don't hate
your number
women. I don't
one
hate the women in
show?
Marvel. They hate the women in Marvel.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
do.
do it. They
Not at
did.
all. Not at all. The one person you are the only person I know that hates the show. So that just says enough for me.
There are three things that I like about the show. I could tell you the three things I like.
I'm okay. What
I
is your
liked
number one
Kitty. I
show?
liked Kitty. I liked the Dementia Lady, and I liked
Oh yeah,
episode
cool. You
5.
like Kitty. That's crazy. A
Yeah,
nobody character.
she was funny. She was the best part of the show. Everything else was
Not
trash.
at
All right,
all.
so my
Not at
number one
all.
movie, I mean, my number one TV show. Um, I'm sorry, it's Penguin. I lied to you, just like Penguin did.
Again. This
Penguin,
proves. This
Penguin,
proves
Penguin
exactly what I
was
said.
incredible. Have you heard what
Not
they
at all.
said? What they've been saying about Penguin? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
loves Penguin.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what are we
Everyone
talking
loves
about right
Agatha.
now?
So like, what are you talking about?
No, everybody hates Agatha.
No, Gisoma. No, you're on
It's a
the wrong
terrible show.
side.
You have not
It's
given me a
not.
reason why the show was
No,
good.
I
I can
literally just went off
No,
on
you went
everything.
off and you said how like you said things
Yeah,
that don't really make sense. Like
sure,
you said things that you
sure.
liked about the people, about the
Yeah, yeah,
characters. That's
yeah, yeah,
fine. But you're
yeah,
not saying anything
yeah.
of value. I'm
No, I
sorry.
did. I
So,
did.
my number 1
I
is
did.
Penguin because Penguin actually shows you who Penguin is and how he became the Penguin. He started off with a road of redemption. He wanted something that was very simple. He just wanted power. But throughout the show itself, you could see him growing to be more greedy, growing to become the Penguin, shutting everybody off from himself, even his protege. And that was such a big twist because we were like, well, at least there's some humanity. No, Penguin doesn't care about
There never was
anybody.
humanity with that character. That's why everyone
That's
hated
what
him.
but that's what we thought. He tricked even us. That's what we loved about it.
Y'all,
We thought
you.
that he was at least going to, set up something for Vic. Vic, he was somebody that was close to him. Like
He
that's
didn't
what
even
we
kill
thought.
his mom when his mom asked him to kill him.
Exactly. No, but that's after what he did to Vic. So you realize that he's
Before,
only doing these things, like
before.
everything is about him. Everything is about himself. It was a great watch, especially with Sophia Gigante, not Falcone. Sophia Gigante.
Falcone.
when she started going through the things that she was going through, you understand her reasoning and everything. And at the end of it, little spoiler for people, if you don't know, like when she got that letter in jail and she started
It's
smiling,
Catwoman.
it's Catwoman. And I
I
was
don't
just
give a
like,
fuck because
and
Penguin's been out for months.
and
If you haven't watched Penguin
I
by
think,
now, then
yeah, like I think that that whole going back and forth when she realized, yo, I'm still playing the same game that my dad has wanted me to play. And it kind of broke that barrier for her. I was like, this is awesome because she's trying to escape a fate by recreating it. And when she realized that, like, and she didn't know where to go from there, she just tried to give it away. She tried, like, it, there was no way for her to escape her fate. And I feel like it's setting something up that's awesome for the DCEU. This is what they needed. This is something that,
not the
I mean,
DCU, but sure.
it it should be. It should be. If they could make Deadpool, if they could force Deadpool into the MCU, then I feel like they could do something with this.
I
That's
don't
all
think
I'm
James
saying.
Gunn wants anything to do with it. It's a Matt Reeves world.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm
Go
literally
ahead.
telling you what it
What
is.
is your number one? What is your
My
number?
number one show, which was had this show not come out, was gonna be Agatha. But my number one show is Arcane season 2.
Okay. I've heard a
Arcane.
lot of good things about that. I've
It
heard a
is
lot of good
the
things.
best animated TV show in history, hands down.
Wow, in history.
It's top 10 show in the world, like in history. Like literally Google it. Um, the writing, the fucking soundtrack, the fucking just character development from season 1 to season 2, the animation, the fight scenes. It's so heavily based on mental health that you don't realize it because each character is so complex from the other one.
Okay.
And then you end up liking characters and forgiving what they did just because of how messed up they are. And then you start hating characters that you thought you liked because then you realize that like what they're trying to do is just like not what you side with.
Yeah.
And then they make some characters so difficult to follow because like even though they're doing the right thing, you don't want them to do the right thing. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
All right.
very. It's a very complex. Like it's a very. Yeah, it fucks with your head. And I thought
I'm gonna write that down. I want to watch it.
What Netflix did that was really creative is that they broke it into 3 acts. So each Friday they dropped 3 episodes from that act. Act 2 from season 2 will fucking destroy you if you have like just any type of emotion. Um, it was one of those where like I watched it and then I needed a 2 hour break. Um,
Really?
I cried a lot. Um, yeah, it's very devastating. It's a devastating show. It's not a happy, like, this is fun. No, this show's gonna fuck you up mentally,
Okay.
physically, emotionally. Like, you're gonna finish watching it, you're gonna be like, that's it? That's all I get?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about
Um,
this, but I don't know if I'm
I
gonna
don't
give
know
it.
if you're gonna like it, if we're being honest. You didn't like Agatha, so I don't think you're gonna like
But
this.
Agatha was garbage.
It
This
really
actually sounded like
wasn't.
it's good. It was though,
No,
but
it wasn't.
okay.
Not at all. It's
Okay.
literally better than WandaVision, and I stand on 10 toes
That's
with that.
terrible. That's a
Yeah,
terrible take.
not at all. We'll see what the comments say, but yeah, not at all.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I'd highly recommend Arcane. It's again another video game. It's a lot based off League of Legends. From what I've heard, don't play League of Legends. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with Arcane, and people who play League of Legends also have told me not to play League of Legends. Um, yeah, it's
Yeah, I
weird.
don't think that you would like it. It's like it's. I don't think it's a game that you would be very
Enjoy.
fond of. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like an
Um,
RPG type of thing. But
oh, yeah. But yeah, so they've only made 2 seasons, and it's only 2 seasons. That's all we're getting. So the story
okay.
ends here, and apparently they're getting side stories, but I think it's in the air right now because he spent so much money creating the show. But it's similar to like Into the Spider Verse with how creative the art and the fight scenes
Yeah.
are. That
Yeah.
I understand why it takes so long for it to drop. But um, yeah, dude, Arcane.
Okay. I could see that. I could see that. That's actually a good number one. I agree with your decision, even though I haven't watched the show. But I've heard a
You
lot of
you
good
just hate
things about the show.
you just hate me. It's okay.
I don't hate you. I just hate what Marvel does to good people like you. You deserve
No,
more. Hey, you
no.
deserve. Hey, if nobody tells
This
you, I'll tell you.
I'll no. I
You
love the
deserve
show.
more.
I loved it. I love that show. So no.
Like,
Well, this
I
has
mean, hey,
been our top
listen.
10
This has been our
TV
top.
shows.
Look, we really do appreciate you guys, especially for sticking with us through this up and down 2024. I mean, I know that we've had some crazy shit happen with us, and we keep promising more and more and more, but shit gets
Yeah,
in the way sometimes.
we needed to take a break.
Hmm.
Um, we'll be back hopefully without any issues next year. It's gonna be a lot of changes happening, but I think for the best.
Yeah, so look forward to those things coming in the future. Uh, I hope you guys have an awesome new year, and I hope all of your guys' resolutions and whatnot come true.
No, I don't. I hope you have a happy new year.
This has been the J Square Podcast. Peace.